final match of the league to determine the winner. This is like the finals. I am ready. Here we go. Whew, muting. Awesome. Catch you on the other side, man. Good luck, good luck. Have fun. I'm proud of us Turks, you know, repping the motherland here in the 5D League. It's good stuff. And we ended up starting with white. That's just how it shook out. And away we go. We're going to start knight f3. We're going to do nothing too crazy. I know that he's mentioned that he's been preparing something. I suspect that it's going to be like C pawn shenanigans. All right, we got the standard. Now I'm going to play d4 here. I expect c5. I fully expected c5. I don't have anything prepped against this, but I will close up the diagonal because that's a sensible thing to do. This queen out I also saw as a distinct possibility. I think that the play here might just be something like could either so here could either play e3 or could play bishop e3. Bishop e3 obviously blocks in our own pawn, which is not excellent. We have to ask ourselves what we're trying to do. Actually, bishop f4 is also possible. If pawn takes and then we takes back, I mean, okay, so the problem here is that we allowed this to happen, so probably we don't want to do this, but I think this is probably necessary. This is probably necessary. This is probably necessary. Yeah, I just want to block diagonal shenanigans once pawns get traded off. You know, and I'm a little hesitant to move this guy out of the way. Okay, so we've got this happens here. What happens if we just capture here? What happens if we just capture here? We have the option of, okay, there's always the knight activation, which would be good. Bishop is a candidate move. I don't know to where. Knight moves, I suppose, are a possibility. He's really going to have a ton of trouble here, I think. I think he's going to have a ton of trouble here getting his bishop out. So what are things that we want to do? If this bishop moves out of the way, then we might have good ideas in our future. Taking here might seem a tiny bit sketch, but I'm actually not so worried about it. If takes here, we probably recapture with the knight. Maybe we recapture with the queen, actually. If we do a little bit of this, what's this queen trying to do? Probably getting our knight into the mix is a good call. That way we can replace this knight if we recapture here with that knight. Let's just do this. It blocks our queen from here. But it also defends here. And now there are questions that we have to ask ourselves. Like, what do we want to do? This seems a little outlandish. Are we afraid of his queen? We do want to activate this bishop. What's a good way to do that? I could see this, maybe. Okay, if this and then queen takes here. If this and then queen takes here. Because right now, takes, you know, like, takes, takes, and then we might have problems. So I could definitely see something like this being meritorious. I want to not get got by tactics. Tactics scare me. We could just hit the queen naturally. I like hitting the queen here. We're just gonna hit the queen. Also gives us another defender here. Obviously it's covered here, and I think he'd be nuts to play this pawn out. We're sort of taking advantage of the fact that this is blocked. We also have to remember that taking here, there's this bishop that covers this, and maybe activating our opponent's bishop in this way, especially down this like scary toward our f2, is not necessarily the best play. I think we want to get this bishop out there eventually. This pawn here is a little stuck. I wonder what he does with his bishop. Or with his queen, rather. Okay, so he moves it back. So I feel like we've gained some decent ground here. Now the question is what exactly we do with it. I do want... This bishop is a little homeless right now. Feels a little homeless. But I think that we want more attacking ideas. I think that we want to get a little bit more active. What happens next? What does our opponent do next? Maybe like push like this. Something like this doesn't seem amazing, but doesn't seem crazy. Something like this seems promising, or maybe this is the answer. I think that we want to get this bishop here is fine too, but then if this happens, what do? We just drop it back, I suppose. And what are we really threatening here? I guess we're threatening if something like this happens after this happens. I don't know. I think we're wasting too much time on just normal developing moves. So let's just do this and then let our opponent play. I think we're playing way too passively as white here. It's got to be said. I am a bit nervous about that. Okay, so this is more or less what we expected to happen. I feel all right here doing a little bit of this. Let's just go for it. This attacks this. There's a Discoverino here, a fossil. And after it takes, it's not like the queen's gonna take back. I mean, that's a trade that we'd make any day of the year, any day of the century. So now let's see how he deals with this. We're putting a little bit of pressure here on f7. We also got this bishop lined up here. Okay, so he immediately plays g6 in order to counteract any of those shenanigans. So we're gonna go ahead and take this free pawn. And now maybe we things start to get a little tricky for our opponent, because we have queen f3 coming up, which hits this knight, which he really needs to defend. Probably bishop out here becomes a thing. But then maybe we have ideas of, oh wow, this capture happens here, just like that. Do we move out with the queen? We move out with the queen, and then what happens? I mean, the alternative is opening something else up here, which I really don't like. So then maybe what if we get like a bishop here situation going on? Do I mind? I probably mind. What are my other options though? Ignore it? That doesn't feel great. After bishop out there, well, I mean, we want to cover this knight anyway. There's just no way to do everything. We gotta keep this knight covered, right? Let's be sensible here. And then like traveling to this, we can't give a check from here, which is a shame. Well, we can give a check from here, but it doesn't really do the job. But we can consider maybe lining up a nice time travel onto this knight. Or just attacking it in 2D. If we had a cool check to give, then we could do... this isn't quite what I expected. I expected this situation to come about. Now, there's a bit of an issue. Because if takes, then this is covered. So we have to come up with a way. If takes, this is covered. So we have to come up with a way. I mean, this seems like utter insanity. We have a lot of pieces staring down this king. I don't think there's a lot that we can do about it. How do we gain access to... Yeah, none of our pieces are out there yet. And obviously there's not a lot going on here. I feel like we're not being very creative right now. Maybe something like this is good. Maybe something like that. Like none of our pieces are defended by like any of the rest of our pieces. So that's a bit of a weird one. But if we do something like this, then maybe we're starting to cook with gas. Yeah. What does he do? Drop back? And then we just take, and then takes. You know, and then now we start to threaten a time travel onto here. And if we time travel to like this board where we've taken this knight with a queen, then our opponent, I think, has issues. Probably, right? It's really hard to say. I feel a little cloudy. I feel like I'm not super, brain's not super active right now. That's why I'm really like not interacting with chat very much at all. And that's no accident. I think I really need to focus here. So sorry to chat if you feel neglected. But I'm really focusing pretty hard, or I'm trying to. This is a really important match. This determines whether we win or lose the league. So I really want to think about this very carefully. I think our opponent's got a pretty solid position. It feels like we have a solid position, except that none of our squares are really... Like, we really have to make something happen with our pieces, which I think we're doing a pretty good job of aggressing right now. We got to put the pressure on so that he doesn't have time to, you know, just like bring a bishop or a queen over and, you know, just f7 sec the living daylights out of us. We got to be really careful. If he doesn't defend that knight, then we have queen takes f6, threatening mate the next turn on h8, which is a huge pain for our opponent, I'd imagine. Especially because we can do something like queen g7, threatening one turn in the past time travel to capture the rook after it moves. I don't really see how he gets out of that. I mean, he does have that bishop. We also threaten, you know, we could just do the classic like knight takes f6 with check. And that might be good if he does something. That might be good if he does some... Well, I don't really see what kind of move he would make that relies on being able to do that. We have a bit of a... I mean, our bishop on b5 is just completely undefended, but simultaneously, I don't really see a way that he takes advantage of that right now without giving up a lot. Okay, so he does just pull the bishop right back. I think that the play is to take with check, man. I'm not even gonna second guess myself here. I think that this happens, and then this happens, and then he's in a world of trouble. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in thinking he's in a world of trouble? Okay, this is fine. Because next move we have really scary mate. No. Ooh, okay. Here, do we have scary mate? Yes, we do. We check here, and then we mate on this square one turn in the past, right? If we check here on this board, our opponent, second and triple guessing himself. Yeah, if we check our opponent on this board, like this, then we have queen travels to here, mate, I believe. And our opponent could deliver a check. Okay. Oh, we'll play some of this and hope we didn't blunder. We gotta hope we didn't blunder. We gotta be careful about blundering. But I think we're fine. I think we're fine. I think queen there was actually a valid concern, but he didn't do it, so I don't have to think about it. I sort of went for it. I wouldn't be surprised if this attack wasn't sound at all. Because if queen takes here, then the queen can recapture. If the queen was here, then the queen could recapture here. But after check, no, yeah, I mean, I think that would have been solid, but it's no longer possible. So let's not waste time thinking about it. Let's just think about what our opponent can do. I think that he has to consider, like, I mean, time travelino is the only way here, right? Yeah. Like, Cambrian queen, as Sarp likes to say, I think is the only way. This is quite a large number of moves in the past. Thankfully, we're in a situation where we can give check in one of many ways. This also gets us another timeline. So we definitely want to capture this guy immediately. And then what? All these knight moves are covered. Well, let's not give him time to think. Although there's a little bit more delay. I think that this is the obvious play. We have a check to give here and to give here. He has 1, 2, 3 moves to set up a defense for this. How does he defend this through this? He can put a queen here. That's for sure. He can put a knight on all of the squares on which he could put a knight are defended. So we feel pretty good about that. By defended, I mean occupied. Like, he'd have to put a knight here, here, or here, which would also take at least 3 moves. So that's not great. It would have to be like 1, 2, 3 or something crazy. And, you know, I'm not going to move this knight unless I have to. Our primary job here is to make sure that he can't prevent, well, I guess the primary job is to make sure that he can't somehow deliver mate. We can put this knight in a position where we can deliver check next turn. We need to deliver check not next turn, but the turn after. But if we have 2 checks to deliver, then that almost works. He needs to spend a turn putting a queen here. It is mandatory for him to do so. So what we can do is set up a check, or okay, I kind of like this move, because if takes, well, obviously we have a check, but what we also have is just the ability to capture the queen itself. Here we threaten both. We threaten a check, like an additional check, a third one. We threaten the queen if it goes either here or here, and if takes, then we take here. We might even threaten mate in some way. I'm not positive, but I think that this is the play. I think that this is the play because he has to do this in order to be able to do something about this queen, and this just prevents him from being able to do that. Which I think is excellent. What we probably do next turn after captures, well, okay, he could also put a queen like here, I guess, but unlikely to happen. Can't even put a queen here. I think our opponent's in a bind. He does have another timeline. That much is true. But the further away he gets, especially when it's close quarters in such a closed position like this, the more difficult it's going to be for him to actually defend against this situation from this situation up here. So yeah. Let's see what he comes up with. We could have been a little bit better, I feel, about our time management earlier. But at the end of the day, we are now ahead. You know, I think we spent time where it mattered, right? We're happy to be in a position where we have time advantage here, clock advantage, I should say. And we're in a pretty good position. I think probably if queen takes here, we're in a lot of trouble. I mean, the thing is, either we had the one turn travel here. What's this? Oh, okay. The queen travels. So we have like a bunch of different checks here, and we do have options to go from this board to that board in just a hot minute. And he has one fewer turn with which to do anything. We could even block here like this and then deliver like a check. Because blocking here, even if he does manage to maintain his queen here, would prevent that queen from getting all the way down there. What do we want to do here? I mean, honestly, we probably just want to give check, yeah? Probably just want to give... If we give check here, then on this turn, we can give check with the queen. We could also just do... let's think. We can also do something down here to up there. We can also take this queen with check. I think we probably just give check here. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's give our check. And then we can do something. Oh, sorry. Obviously, we can't take the queen, but we can deliver a check like up here, like that. Again, we can also like occupy this space, which both checks him in the past and also means he has to put a piece onto this square. And if that piece is a queen, which is the only way that he has access to this square, then, I mean, we can just deliver another check. We gave ourselves, I think we did the right thing up here. And it doesn't have any other timelines, which is really good for us. So opponent's in a bit of a bind. He's in a bit of a pickle, to be sure. Now the question is what the best play here is. So he has one more move before he can do anything. I really like this move. Because again, it puts him in check back here. And The only way that he can do anything about it is to take with a queen from up here, but we can just deliver another check like that. Then I think that we probably just deliver a good old-fashioned checkerino from up here so that he can't do that, and then he has to take with this bishop. Actually, maybe it might even be a better use of our time, honestly, to not deliver this check and just to put ourselves in a position where we could deliver a check from up here. I'm not sure if that's the best play. Like, is our check up here better used this turn or next turn? Does it matter? I mean, realistically, I don't think that it matters, to be clear. I don't think it matters at all. But, you know, you're in a position where basically you have the game is yours to lose. You just want to make sure that you're being careful, right? I think it's good practice. I think it's good practice, not just for flagging, you know, in the future, but giving a check here, because then we don't have a follow-up is kind of the issue. Like here, here's a good move. Let's just do that. Because we can deliver a check here, or here. We can deliver a check here. If he takes like this, then that's great. We basically have given ourselves a position where it's impossible for him to prevent us from checking on both of these boards, which is exactly what we needed. That's exactly what we needed to prevent him from getting out of this bind. So yeah, I think we played this well. Okay, the take's here, so then we've got easy clap check. Here, you know, if don't takes, then we've got easy clap check. If takes, we've got easy clap check. We're just clapping all the way to the bank. Yeah, looks good. I haven't set eye on chat this entire time. So again, sorry for not being the most interactive streamer here. But, you know, it's too high stakes for me to not be so cautious. My hair, I really got it. I thought I got it out of the way. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, I think our opponent, I mean, when you're in a position like this, really all you can do is just did not expect. We can still, of course, deliver a check here into the pass and check this king here. I think we can probably, yeah, I think we can mate this king. Well, I mean, obviously not, because it just got here, so probably not. It's really funny, though. All right, that's cool. We'll just give this check here, and we'll give this check here, and then we will collect our win. Whew! We did it! Game one out of the way. Granted, it's the game where we play as white, which makes it an easier game. GG. We're halfway there. Whew. Okay. GG's. GG, Sarp. Good game, man. Huh. Okay. We got there. We're only halfway done. This was the easier first game of the two. I made a few mistakes in the opening. Yeah, I think it probably honestly boiled down, Sarp, to capturing here with the bishop instead of with the queen. If you capture with the queen, I think my job is a lot harder. I mean, there's still, you know, you can move the queen over and then like capture the rook one turn in the pass, but then you can put the queen here to defend against it. So it's really not clear. But I don't know. Yeah, I think probably after that, there isn't really much that you can do. I think probably the move from me to prevent this, I think this was probably irresponsible, to be honest. I think that probably a better move was, well, okay, who cares? Let's just move forward. If you took the pawn after 3 queen g6, I had a flag by force. Okay, hold on. After 3 queen g6, if you took the pawn. Oh yeah, I know that taking the pawn is scary. I definitely wouldn't take the pawn there under any circumstances. Yeah, it's just too scary. That was one of my secret strats? Ah, okay. By the way, recently I played many games with Andre and found out that when played correctly, white has some kind of advantage right from the opening, so white is more likely to win there. Oh, okay. So I've messed up by playing g6 without bishop g7? What? Oh, you're saying... Okay, you're not saying he messed up by playing g6 before playing bishop g7. You're saying he should have fianchettoed the bishop. Yeah, I mean, that was... I mean, the thing was... Yeah, the bishop move relieved pressure in some sense from this. It like forced the knight back, right? But, you know, the knight had a happy square to go to, which was g4. I don't know. It was tricky, man. It was tricky. Let me scroll back up and see what's going on here. I'm sure that I missed so much. Let's see. I am ready. Let's go. Turn off animation. Didn't do that. But thankfully, it didn't cost us too much time. He doesn't read chat now, right? I do read chat during the game if I have time. This is like a high enough stakes game that I probably wasn't going to, even if I thought that I had like a lot of time in a good position. I'm just kind of nervous, man. I got a little bit of tourney nerves. No shame in that. We can check it out. Perhaps, he said. Go chat. If Samet reads this, he will flag. Exactly. This chat is impressively active, especially for me not replying to any of it. Yeah, I agree, Dom. Welcome to the show, by the way. How's it going? Hi, Void. Hello, Comms, Doms. Feel personally attacked. You just F7 sacked my heart. I'm happy to see that, you know, we're as memeful as ever in chat. That's good. It's okay, Koyash. How is your going, Doms? Okay. Jesus Christ. I'm supposed to go to sleep already? Alright, presumably Void left after this game, but I'm going to retroactively thank him for sticking around and hanging out. This is just a Lightning McQueen reference. Never seen Cars. Big Disney fan, big Pixar fan, but never seen Cars. I'm a little rebel watching the first match, I'm sure. Actual quote is ka-chow. There we go. Spoiler, is e7 mate? Like would e7 lose the game? Where? I thought he submitted the castle. Yeah, the castle was real spooky. The castle there was real spooky. I'm glad that Sarp didn't do that. This is 6 moves in the past time travel. Spoiler, or he could put the bishop on e7 and travel. Recapture with the bishop very early. Would be cool. It's late now. I think if he plays bishop e7 now, he has it. No. Square is empty 0. It's 1 move late. I see it there. Rip. Would have been cool. Bishop must have gotten there before. He could also retake that square with the other knight. Don't know if it'd be good though. I think it matters. I think check is necessary. Explain. What is your opinion? IDK just joined back the stream, didn't know how the game went. At first glance, white wins anyway. And then GG happened, yeah. Made a few mistakes in the opening. Okay, now we're caught up. Okay, we're caught up. Okay. Last game of the league. Here we go. Winner takes all. Oh my goodness, it's not C4. We're just gonna play... This is exactly what we're gonna do. Not too mad about that. Here, I think we're definitely gonna do one of these. Could also do this. This seems decent. I'm maybe a little bit more comfortable doing this. So we probably just will. Not gonna think about it too much. Oh, a little bit of that action happening. Let's go maybe here, like this now, and see what happens. Let's just see what our opponent do. Let's see what our opponent do now. Yeah. Let's see what happens here in this position. I'm V curious. I'm V curious. It's a tricky position for sure, man. I mean, this is a stand, like, this is kind of as standard as it gets. I think, like, this symmetric position is kind of, you know, the E4, E5. It's like the Ruy Lopez of turn 0 right now, at least. I know a lot of people are coming up with different ideas, you know, like the C-pawn openings. But, you know, this is the tried and true. Now we have to see what our opponent ends up doing out of this position. This position gets tricky. Amazingly, we're ahead on the clock, and as black, no less. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. Okay, this happened, so now we do this immediately. That happened, so now we do this immediately. Now our opponent is thinking. If chat is wondering where I'm going with this, the answer is that this bishop next turn is going to travel to here, which is now checking the king on this board, like so. And now he has to get creative. Now he has to get very creative. I had this one ready for a rainy day. Looks like it was just the right time. I honestly don't know what our opponent does out of this. He's certainly got time. Okay, I mean, the first step was always going to be something like this. The problem is that he can't do anything after this. But we don't have a check to deliver. I think that recapturing here is totally fine, because next turn he has to be able to do something, and he can't capture. We're not going to give him time. We're going to stay under 30 seconds utilized on the clock. We just are. We just are. Got another time travel to use. Can't do it with this knight or this knight because neither of them have moved down here in that time. So the only time travels he's got are with this queen and only to this position, which is unhelpful. Unfortunately for our opponent, it is unhelpful. Now we don't really have a check that we can deliver, but I don't think we need to. I think we can do almost anything, and it's okay. He certainly doesn't have a check that he can deliver, you know, onto this board. Just isn't in the cards. So I think, well, our opponent, let's put it this way. He's got 16 minutes to find a way out of this, and very few options. Okay, one of the only moves that he's got. And it still doesn't get him there. If I'm not wrong. That is the furthest that he can go. Yeah, we've got the cool knight check. But also, it doesn't help him. It doesn't move the present forward more crucially than that. If he goes to this board. So the only place he can go is to this board. You know, and the furthest that he can go on that board is with the queen. So something like this. And he can't cover this square with the queen from anywhere because it's being blocked on the horizontal by this knight and subsequently, you know, by that king. So yeah. What is cool about this as well is that, okay, so he's doing the queen move because there's really no other move for him to make. Now we probably just do one of these. Right? Stay. Just block both of his queens from doing anything. And we win the game. There we go, chat. Under 30 seconds used. Feels pretty good. GG, Sarp. GG. By the way, is this the last game of the league? Isn't there a 6th week in Advanced League? Wait, I meant Summit didn't play his 3rd week games. Am I wrong? No, this is the last. Sarp is the last person who I have to play. Because there are 5 opponents. He's my 5th opponent. There are 6 people in the league. Dreamer is saying, "Oh no, this trap, Bishop G2 and it's over. How dirty of you." Oh, I thought I was talking to myself the whole game. GG, man. This is an idea that I was first introduced to by an Andre versus Dreamer game, which is why Dreamer's getting like PTSD stress flashbacks. It's an incredibly sharp idea, and I haven't used it yet in a tournament game. I've been waiting. But the thing is, yeah, in a position like this, what's incredibly easy to forget is that this bishop is actually doing a job on its home square, and that job is defending G2. The second that it moves away, you threaten capturing the queen here, which is pretty disastrous. And the obvious move is, you know, especially if you've never seen it before, is king takes. And in the event that king takes, which, I mean, you know, king takes is pretty obvious. Then, yeah, you pull the bishop out, and then you have this check in the past. It's a real monster to deal with. If you don't see it in time, I don't even think that there's a way to prevent it here. Like, you know, this doesn't prevent the travel. And so if you see this idea exists, I don't think there's anything that white can do, like, after this that prevents it. Obviously, there's something like, you could play this bishop out here next to this queen, and do probably Jurassic Queen is the way, right? I think that after a Jurassic Queen, you've probably got some options, especially because the knight starts off here, right? So, like, probably what you have to do in this position is something like Queen B3 and then Jurassic Queen, and then keep this knight here for the rest of your days, so that on this timeline, this knight captures this bishop. But it's really tricky, and if you don't see that in time, then you're in trouble. But it's really hard to deal with. GG. Do you want to join VC for the Blacks Force draw? Yeah, let's do that. Big GG's to Sarp. I was incredibly nervous about those games, and I think rightfully so. Especially against the C5 prep, I was really scared, and even against C4. And I think that if I didn't get this you know, sort of sharp idea that he hasn't seen before. I think I got lucky here, is what I'm saying. I think I got way luckier than I deserved. But that's the way that it happened. Okay, let's rep our games and then let's join chat.